Okay, well, surprise what? What did, I know him and I know you. So what we surprised about? Y'all, my mother tells me that Uncle Willie is my daddy and Uncle Willie ain't my uncle. So all of these times we've gone to Murray Steaks, because we've been doing this for years. All of these times we've been going to Murray Steaks, now you tell me we're going to Murray Steaks because my daddy was giving us groceries and money. You can understand that I was pissed. I didn't trust her anymore. I didn't know who this guy was because that's strange that anybody would continuously see me all the time and want to be a part of my life just a little bit, and the whole time knowing I belong to you. It just didn't sit right from the beginning. Something did not feel right about it. I was reluctant. Naturally, I was reluctant. I didn't want to do it. I didn't trust him. I didn't trust her. I didn't want to do none of it. In finding out that Willie was my father, now I find out I got 3 other siblings, possibly a 4th, because there's another child who was around my age who he slept with their mother too, and he didn't get a DNA test, so he didn't know whether that child was his child or not. So, y'all, you know, a young girl being introduced to 4 new humans is scary. Everybody knew about me the whole time. I'm just the one who had no idea about what was going on in my family, apparently. You know what I mean? So I said, okay, let me see. Let me see what this is about. Because y'all, can I tell y'all, I got into so much trouble in school. I got into so much trouble in school, in middle school, fighting. Because you know how kids, when you into it with a kid, they'll be like, your daddy, your mama, your daddy. That was fighting words for me. That was fighting words for me each and every time. That was fighting words for me. So I fought a lot as a kid. I fought a lot. I stayed in school suspension. They never suspended me like out of school. It's because I always kept good grades. They saw in me that I was a great student and that I wanted to learn. But students picked on me all the time. They knew my father was dead, so they chose to lean on that, and I would fight all the time. So now, to find out my daddy ain't dead, I've been around here wrecking stuff for no reason. I've been around here creating enemies for no reason. Now, I got a dad. So, alright, let's see what this is about. This man came into my life as a father and never showed up. It was so crazy because I saw him more as Uncle Willie than I ever saw him as Dad. You know what I mean? I saw you consistently every weekend as Uncle. But now when you're Dad, you're nowhere to be found. You're never showing up. You're not keeping your word. I can't get $1 out of you. Okay. Okay. So naturally, I developed my own feelings about this man, and I don't want anything else to do with him. I started to try and build a relationship with my other siblings, y'all. But let me tell y'all how that one went. Let me tell you how that one went. So the devil is a lie. See, the devil knew it's about to get real. So dealing with his children, I'm gonna call them thing 1, which is the girl, Thing 2, which is the oldest boy, and Thing 3, which is the youngest boy. The unknown one, I'm gonna leave him out of all of this because he ain't never done or said anything to or about me. So, me and Thing 1 began to build a sisterly relationship. You know what I mean? Because why not? Why not? You learned that you had a younger sister, and she acted like it's what she wanted in the beginning. My brothers acted like it was what they wanted in the beginning. Everybody was so protective over Yana, right? Baby Yana. Everybody loves baby Yana. Well, the moment Yana no longer wanted to keep her mouth shut and wanted to speak her truth, nobody wanted baby Yana anymore. Y'all, I went through years of life with these people pretending that they loved me and that they had my back and that they really wanted to create a relationship with me. And I told them that our relationship didn't need to be based on my relationship with their father. Just because I don't want to deal with him don't mean that I don't have to have a relationship with you, sis. With you, bro. Those are two completely different things. I feel that those are two completely different relationships. And so I tried to keep them separate. Me and my brothers and sisters would talk. We would see one another. We would text, message, all this stuff like this. We got to a point of Thing 1 feeling like it was okay for her to out my business to the rest of my siblings because she was mad, y'all. And I'm going to tell you why. All these parts of the stories tie in together at some point. I'm going to bounce off of this and go to another part, and all of this will come back together at some point. I promise you. So, in growing up in the projects, I already knew that that wasn't the life I wanted to live. Once my mother got us out of the projects, we did go to the Weequahic section of Newark. I was in school. I went from Maple Avenue to Arts High School, and life was good. Life was good. I was in when I got into high school. Well, actually, let me back up some. I was 11 years old. 11 years old. When I first got taken away from my mother. So, I'm a lesbian, right? I really believe that a lot of this mess that has happened with my family in general has come from the fact that I am a lesbian, right? And they can't get a grip on it. So when I was 11, I came out. I didn't come out willingly. My aunt kind of drugged me out of the closet. What she thought was me kissing a girl was not that at all. She saw me doing like a mwah, mwah with one of my male friends who his mother accepted that he was transitioning into a woman or a girl at the time, and so he wore his hair down at the time, so I could understand why my aunt thought that I was kissing a girl. And again, we were not kissing, but since we were leaning in, it might have looked like that motion to my aunt on the bus as she was passing. So she told my mother I was kissing a girl. My mother called me downstairs the next morning. Yana, come down here. Get downstairs. It's early. Now, that was on a Friday. My aunt saw this. Saturday morning, my mom is wilding. She's tripping. Go downstairs. I sit at the end of the table, and she's like, I got something to ask you, and I'm gonna only ask you one time. And this is how she was. She was over. I'm sitting at the end of the table, right here. So say this is the end of the table. I'm looking into the kitchen. She's over there. This is how she is. She's on the stove cooking. And she's cooking like this. Yeah, I'm only going to ask you this one time, okay? And I want you to be honest with me, okay? You like licking, you know what? First off, I had no idea what you know what was, okay? I was a little girl and I was horrified at her even suggesting something so crazy. When she got no response from me, she then proceeded to ask, do you like girls? Do you like kissing little girls? And so I thought that that was my opportunity to just be honest. And I said yes. And my mother slung a plate. The plate that was sitting on the counter, she slung it straight at me. And I ducked that. I got up out that kitchen. I got up out of that kitchen, went upstairs, put on some clothes, and I just went for a walk down the street to my friend's house because I knew that my mother was on 10 and I knew that I needed to clear the space. Later on that day, I get home. My mother has called my sister. Sister 2. Mama calls sister 2. And she comes over there. What, Mom? What's going on? What's going on? Yana, what's going on? I don't know why she called you here. She's like, Mom, what's going on? My mother like, tell her how you like licking you know what. Really, Mom? That's, first off, that's so out of line to say to a kid. First off, because I was not there. I was not there. Though I knew I liked girls and I knew that the church taught me that it was wrong, I didn't know what sexual intercourse and all that stuff was. So I I told my sister, I said, yes, I like women. I like girls. And my sister looked at my mother and said, okay, Mom, like I thought you were going to tell me like she was pregnant or something. Like, okay, it's not the end of the world. And so I thought I had an ally, right? I thought she was my support system. I thought she was my friend. But after she left, my mother got back on the phone again. And she started to call the church that I was going to. I was attending a church at the time. The pastor of this church was the best friend of Uncle Willie. So I was singing. I've always been known for singing as a kid. So I sung in church. I sung in the choir. I sung most of the solos, all of that stuff. So my mom calls the pastor and tells the pastor that I'm a homo. And the pastor says that he's going to gather the troops and they're going to come over. Once I heard that conversation happen, at that time, I had a cell phone with minutes on it, like it's a little flip phone with some minutes on it, a minute card. For you young people who don't know what that is, ask your parents. And I used my last couple of minutes to call my grandmother, and I told my grandmother what my mother was doing. I said, Grandma, my mom has called the pastor and these people. They're going to come over here, and they're going to try to come get me. Please come. And my grandmother said, baby, say no more. I'm on the way. I couldn't even tell my grandmother, like, everything that was going on. I just told her a little bit just to alert her to get her on the way. It was less than about 10 minutes. I don't know how that pastor got there so fast with so many church people. But him and like 3 of the deacons and 2 deaconess and like one of the nurses came. And y'all, my mom had already cleared off the coffee table. They must have given her directions. She had already cleared off the coffee table. They lay me on the coffee table, hold my ankles, hold my wrist, and this man is throwing holy water on me. He is putting the Bible on my head. They're trying to perform an exorcism. While in the midst of all of this crazy stuff happening, my grandmother comes in. Because of course the front door ain't locked. The front door ain't locked. These people walked in our house. They locked the front door. Grandma comes right in. Y'all unhand my baby. And grandma says the dad. Right? Wrong, y'all. When I came out is when my troubles started. When I came out is when my troubles started. I don't want to say that my mom told anybody to hurt me. But I believe that her sharing what she had just found out about my sexuality made me a target to other people, because all of my sexual abuse started after I came out. Again, I was an 11-year-old girl, so I was a little developed. I had already started developing breasts. I was tall. I had long legs. I ran track. You know what I mean? So it made me extremely vulnerable. So about a month after I came out, I remember one of the deacons died, right? One of the deacons who came to our house died. And I remember the pastor calling my mom to say, hey, let Ayana come and sing the solo for the pastor's funeral. And you know, y'all, I'm gung-ho. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Let's do this. And he came to get me because my mother trusts me with them. They come to get me all the time. I stay the night at their house all the time because they have children, and I sing in the choir. So, you know, these people are trusted. This man took me, my mother told him I didn't have stockings and a shirt to wear for the funeral. And so he took me to Youth World. For those of you who are familiar with Jersey, Youth World in East Orange. There's a Youth World in East Orange, New Jersey, and you park behind the Youth World. We were in the church van. I remember him looking for a spot to pull into, and one spot we pulled into, somebody pulled in next to us, so he pulled out. And I remember him pulling into a different spot that was a little bit further away from where you would walk between the buildings to get out to go in front to enter the store. And he put the car in park, and I remember him like undoing his clothes, his pants and stuff, and it was almost like a swift motion all at once. As he put his hands in his pants, he reached under my shirt, even under my shirt, because again, like I told you, I had breasts at the time. I remember immediately